Hi, my name's Andy, and in January of this year, 2022, I sailed across the Atlantic Ocean in my sailboat. My boat, Lordship, is a 1986 Westerly Sea Lord. It's 39 foot long. But this is not that story. Currently my boat is in Trinidad, on the hard, waiting out the hurricane season. Instead, I want you to join me for a week sailing in the UK, where I sail down to the Scillies on a catamaran. The boat belongs to my instructor, Jim, and I last sailed with Jim 4 years ago, before I bought my own boat. He's a very knowledgeable sailor, and I'm hoping to learn celestial navigation along the way, as well as visit a group of islands that I've dreamt of visiting since I first thought of buying a sailboat. On the first morning, I had about 7 hours of rail travel to get me down to Penzance and join in the boat. I had to start the day with a fry-up. Heading to Epsom train station to go sailing for the week in Plymouth. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to document it here and make a cool video.
28, southwestern, Barcelona, West End.
Okay, I'm on the train to Victoria. There is a strike on, which is great. Always support striking workers. So I'll probably jump in a cab. Bus because there was a queue 50 people deep for a taxi, but I have loads of time and I've arrived at Paddington now. Got half an hour to wait for my train. Getting pretty excited about the sailing. To Penzance, 5 hours on the train. I'm now walking to Jim's boat, catamaran, Mego Molino. I'm really excited. And yeah, there's a drying harbour here in Penzance. I'm just going to show you. Lots of boats. Very good. This is Penzance Lock, and we're just coming alongside very easily. Are you on board?
done, boys.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think it was. This is almost tropical.
Hey? Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. It's not like this all the time, though.
No, I bet.
God.
I bet it's not.
It's the morning and we anchored outside Penzance and now I'm going for a swim. It's only 15 degrees. It's not like the Caribbean. Oh, 1 whole minute of swimming. I won't complain about swimming in the Caribbean. The water is still cold, even in August in the UK. After a refreshing swim in the sea, we all gather for our first breakfast aboard Mago. Mago is a privileged 39 catamaran. Jim is the owner and a qualified RYA instructor. He runs a sailing school during the spring and summer months down in the southwest of the UK. After breakfast, we went through various safety briefings, what to do in case of a fire, instruments, preparation for man overboard drills that we would be doing later in the day, that kind of thing.
You don't want, and you'll notice we've got big orange proper Perry boys here, which you'll never see on a yacht.
No.
But the reason is these cost a bloody fortune, and those silly little yellow things that you see that yachts have, they cost bugger all. Guess why they cost bugger all? Because as soon as you try and put it on, it snaps in half. It's got polystyrene in it.
Was that
What's
what's
the
in
point?
there? Not foam, really?
No, it's just polystyrene. So you get hold of one in the shop and go like that. It'll snap. So why would you buy that? This is safety equipment. You know, you're probably never going to use it. But if you ever do use it, you want it to work.
Jim has many years' experience on the water, over 40 years I think. He's sailed lots of different ships. He's worked as a delivery skipper, a flotilla leader in the Mediterranean. He's been an instructor in various different guises. He has even examined people who want to be RYA instructors. So he has just so much knowledge and he's always sharing it whenever you step on board his boat. And that's kind of why I was very keen to spend a week sailing with him. Just getting ready to go sailing. Jim is going through the reefing system with everyone up on the deck. So it's going to be windy up there, but I'm going to try and just film some of that.
You pull, use your body weight in the knees, which is bad for knee replacements of my knackered knees.
Yeah.
You're doing this, you're sort of using your body weight to pull the thing up, and you watch your elbow up there. Because your elbow's going to get close to that, so you can't say, be careful, don't bang your elbows on there. Yeah, that's just cool. Okay, elbows, then up you up again. Everyone know where the proper landing is.
Afternoon of the first day. I've forgotten how tiring it was sailing. I'm knackered. I just want to go to sleep. We had a lunch. In the morning we just did some drills, some man overboard drills as you saw. And this afternoon we're going to do some tacking, jibing, putting reefs in, changing the head sail. So we're all ready for tomorrow, when tomorrow we're going across the Scillies. It's only 25 miles, but it's a 4 hour, depends on the speed of the boat, sail.
Go straight down there. No, we're going to go over there a bit and go around in case something's coming in.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's fine. Yeah.
Beauty.
Go ahead now. Slip. Yeah, slip.
A beauty day for a sail. $305.
west to the Scillies. I've been caught by a bit of seasickness, which is very normal for me, even on a catamaran. Whew, and I've literally just sat up to do the video, but I would be lying down if I could. And after I've done this, I'm going to lie straight back down. We're about 10 miles offshore, and now we're heading west towards the Scillies, but it's still 30 miles to go, and there's not much wind, so we're doing about 4 or 5 knots. Not even 4 or 5 knots, 3 knots. And Jim's giving a lesson outside about how to winch. This is fun. I was saying earlier that sailing is, for me, is feeling sick, tired, and adrenaline. All 3 things at once. I love it. Just keep doing it. Don't know why. Okay, so here I am in Old Grimsby in the Isles of Scilly. The water's very clear, and I'm hoping to go swimming in a bit. It's good with on Jim's boat. Because it's a sort of a learning boat, a teaching boat. You don't use a plotter. You do not use a chart plotter. And you have to make a pilotage plan, you have to identify the rocks and the dangers and the depths before you write a little plan, and then you're just going off bearings on a hand bearing compass. It takes a lot more work, it's a lot more rewarding. I say that, I didn't do it. I wasn't involved in making the pilotage today, and I wasn't helming, I wasn't doing very much today, which is how I like it. It can be quite nerve-wracking, just like looking at some rocks and trying to figure out if they're the rocks that you had on the chart or they're not the rocks, and if you're going to end up crashing into rocks without being able to look at your plotter and see your GPS, you just moving along the line. But I guess that's what we're here to learn. So I'm walking along Tresco, one of the islands of the Scillies. I'm walking up to some ruins, and I think I can walk around the island. It's not very big. I've lost everyone else on the crew already. They've gone on ahead, and Jim, the skipper, we left on the boat. I think he wanted some alone time, go for a swim and be without us. So yeah, it's a beautiful island. Oh wow, that looks great. So there's the objective. Let's see if I can get up there. I mean, I'm sure I can. It's not challenging. There's a path. I'm just going to wander around the paths, get a little bit lost, hopefully catch up to the other guys on the boat. had a good morning briefing session on engines, diesel maintenance. I was pretty pleased because when I did this 4 years ago with Jim, I had absolutely no idea what was going on, and now 4 years afterwards, almost everything he said is problems I've encountered and dealt with, or maintenance I've already done myself. And it's funny because he says, oh, diesel engines are very simple, very easy, and when you don't know about them, because you're not a diesel mechanic, you think, no, this is not simple, this is really hard. But just a little bit of time being around the engine, it breaking, and you being the only person who can fix it, and suddenly it becomes very easy very quickly. It has to. Otherwise you're stuffed. It jumped into Jim's engine room, and on this side, on the starboard side, he's got electric engine, and on the port side is old diesel. So I was interested to see that. It's a very small engine, physically, volume-wise. I'll show you, and either side they have batteries. So there it is, just that. And then battery bank. Okay, we're just about to lift the anchor, and we're going to do a sailing exercise, which is sailing onto a mooring buoy, which is something I've not ever done in my boat. That's something you never see people doing. I have sailed onto an anchor and sailed off my anchor, but not onto a mooring buoy. So hopefully I'm gonna film some of that. It's really interesting exercise. You basically, when you've got wind against tide, which is what we've got, you just use your head sail, don't have your mainsail out, and you just fill and spill. So you have very little speed, but because the tide's against you, you have steerage, and slowly come up to the ball and hook it and put a rope round. At least that's the theory. That's the exercise for today.
Further forwards. Yep. The beam's okay. So now we come hard port and make sure we can stop the boat, i.e. have we got the wind on the beam. I think we will have this time. So straight towards the mooring. We're going to put it on the port bow 2 feet outboard the port bow. So turn left, so you aim straight at it. Do not be turning, don't be going downwind. That's it. Like that. A bit more, it's still aiming at it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, it's not. Put your wheel over. Now we have to lose speed, Steve. Dump that jib. It's completely empty, we're losing speed. Turn towards it. Turn towards it. That's too fast, really, isn't it? A bit too fast. I could probably do it. Steve, feet in.
Round we go again.
Pull, Steve.
Attempt number 2.
Straight down again. Now, we don't want any more than about 2 knots at any time. And we need to aim up. And we found last time that we were going too fast, so let's go. Get ready. Be ready, Steve. Steve, be ready to sheet in if we need power. Just come left now, please. Oh, it's a chain. Bugger.
I hope you enjoyed watching us picking up the mooring ball. We actually went round a 3rd time and used a rope to lasso the mooring ball in the end. Every time I've sailed with Jim, he'll always show you how to sail onto and off your anchor and how to pick up a mooring ball while sailing. These skills are basically how to stop and start the boat when you don't have an engine, and I think this is really critical to know how you do this, because diesel engines are quite unreliable. You don't want the first time you're trying to drop your anchor under sail to be when your engine won't start. 2 times in the 4 years that I've owned my boat, I've ended up having to stop the boat without an engine, and it was really helpful that that wasn't the first time I was doing it. So the next day it was time to leave the Scilly Isles and head back to the mainland. It was also the day for taking sun sights and doing some celestial navigation. Great, just got a sun sight.
Under the sun, so find the horizon and then swing left so you see
the
sun.
So the horizon's supposed to be on one of the on the top line, or the okay.
Just look at the horizon,
Yeah.
and then go this way.
Well, it's just above it right now.
Yeah. So now you've got to turn this dial. Just turn that.
Until that comes down to the.
Yeah, you pull it down.
In the morning, while we were anchored, we had sight of the horizon in the south, and the sun was above it, which is what you need to take a sun sight. So we took one so that I could do the calculations over breakfast. Taking a sun sight not at noon will give you a line on the chart, and you will just know that you're somewhere along this line. If you can take a noon sight, this is the angle of the sun when it reaches the zenith, or the highest point it will reach in the sky that day. Then you can calculate an exact latitude from this. In order to calculate your position at sea, you need what's called a sun-run sun, which is a morning sight to give you this line on the chart. Then you take a noon sight, and that noon sight will give you an exact latitude, coupled with your boat's log, so the distance that you've traveled and the direction that you've been traveling, will help you use the 2 sights to give you an exact position. I'm not an expert on this. This is the one and only time so far that I've done celestial navigation, but I can assure you, however world weary you are, it's really a fantastic experience when you draw your position on the map based just on looking at the sun through some lenses and a mirror and doing some calculations. I was really very excited in a sort of giddy and childish way when that happened. Chilling in my cabin, we're sailing across back to the mainland. We left at 1 in the afternoon. It's now 5:30. I've just done 2 hours out there. We're going pretty fast. It's light wind, but we have a screecher, a light wind, upwind, light wind sail up, and we're doing 7 to 8 knots. Heading to Lizard Point. I'm just taking a break. Okay, it's 7 o'clock, penultimate day. We didn't have a good night's sleep last night because the anchorage was very rolly. Jim got up at 6 and lifted the anchor, and now we're just moving with the electric engine, so it's quite quiet. We're waiting for the wind to come in. I guess today we're going to have our last day of proper sailing. We're heading for Falmouth. And tomorrow we're going to do a lot of parking practice, which is the thing that most people are worried about. I won't get too involved with that because this is a catamaran. I have a monohull. I'm not going to say I know how to park my boat, but I can park my boat, and it's completely different with 1 engine to 2 engines. So I'll let the other guys get experience doing that and practice with that. Yeah, let's see what the day brings.
That's a spoil of war. That's Mussolini's. That was owned by Mussolini. Yep. Well, some of the Allies nicked it when.
Did you say pints like as in plural?
Oh, there are 3 of us.
Okay, okay.
So that's 3 pints.
Jim's just paying for the marina, and then we're going for pints, which I'm looking forward to. End of the week, tied up in Falmouth Marina, so yeah, no more sailing for me. Just one more night on the boat, and then tomorrow morning back to London.